Lately, I've been receiving questions about the tension, and people have been having problem with adjusting their tension and understanding why and how to adjust the tension. And one viewer contacted me and said, well, when you did the video on how to master the industrial sewing machine, you said you was going to show how to use the tension, but you never did, and they are correct. So I'm going to try and answer the questions that you are having about your tension. And also, now, I am not a mechanic. I don't know the mechanics of this, but I can show you what works for me. And when I first started sewing, and I bet it took me 3 years before I would touch my tension, because I thought I was going to do something and turn it and couldn't get it back to where it was. And so I was just so intimidated by it. So every time that I worked on a different project, the leather was thicker or thinner, my stitch would look different, so I would think it's something wrong with my machine. I would take the head off, take it to the shop, the guy take it into the back room, bring it back, and say, okay, it's done. And after about 4 times of that, I'm thinking, well, you can't be doing too much back there in that back room, because it's not taking him long to bring it back. So what I did, I went home and I just turned my tension tight all the way. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to break this fear of using my tension. And so I just turned it tight all the way, and I start to sew. And just kind of give you an idea here. Now, I just turned my tension in all the way. And so what happened was that my stitch looks like a straight line. There's no break in it. It just looks like a straight line. So what I've learned is that if I loosen my tension, well, if I tighten my tension too tight, this is what will happen on the top side. The bottom side it's fine. It have the break in it, but it's the top side that looks like a straight line. Excuse me. So what I learned to do, I will loosen my tension until I start to get a better looking stitch. So the whole idea behind just tightening your tension real tight and then look at what the stitch looks like, what it does, it removes the fear of you adjusting your tension. Okay, here. Now, my stitch is beginning to look a little better. It's beginning to have more of a break in here, but I'm going to loosen it a little more. And that's going to give me even a better look. Now, my break in here is even better. So the more I adjust it, the better my stitch will look on the top side. And it's going to look even better on the back side. Now, it is a balancing act. Now, the other thing that sometimes that can cause your stitch to be too tight or too loose is that if you're adjusting your tension, if you are adjusting your tension and you still can't quite get it, a lot of the time it could be the screw on your bobbin housing. And what you would do, this is what I do. I tighten this screw all the way, and what it will do is just make it real tight, hard to pull. Then I will start loosening it up a little bit as I can put it just a little more, and then I will put it back in and stitch with it, see what it looks like, and just barely tweak it. Just barely tweak the screw here. And eventually you will be able to balance everything out. And like I say, it is a balancing act between turning your attention to the left or to the right. And if you get to a point to where you have to turn your attention all the way out, or loosen it all the way out, just to get a good looking stitch, go to your bobbin housing, because that means your bobbin housing is a little too tight or it's a little too loose. So if you get to this point to where you have no room to adjust, you go to your bobbin housing. But only if you get to this point. And so now the other thing is that can cause your stitch to look too tight, and that's if your thread is hung up somewhere, and when you're sewing, it just becomes real tight. But you would be able to identify that much easier, because you can be sewing and all of a sudden it just gets tight. But if you are working on a project and you move to another project to where one leather is thinner than the other one or thicker than the other one, and you're having a problem with your tension, start here. Start here. And don't be afraid to adjust that, because once you are no longer afraid, well, then you will sit there and you would adjust it, and do not let it frustrate you, because you will get frustrated because you're trying to finish something up or you're trying to start on something and your stitch is not right. Always start here with adjusting. Like I say, to get to know your machine, you tighten your tension very tight, and then start loosening it up, and you will start to see where your good-looking stitch will be. And a lot of time you can just leave it there, and that's pretty much where your machine will say, okay, if you leave me here, I'm going to give you a good stitch. But sometimes you have to make adjustment. But anyway, I hope that this was some help to you, and I still have many, many more videos to do, and I have not forgotten the requests that people have made about show how to make belts, how to make a coin purse with a zipper in it, and how to skive. So there's many, many videos that I have to make, because people have asked me to do it, and I'm going to do it, but it just takes time. But anyway, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel and pass this on to someone else. And again, thank you for watching.